Hollywood has thousands of stories about actors and actresses that died before their time. We know the stories about James Dean, Valentino, everybody else, Lawrence Harvey, Sal Mineo. But this guy, my mother once said this is the most handsome man she ever saw on television. My dad thought the same thing. All the women, all the men, straight people, gay people, transgender people, all type of sexual identities loved this guy, not because of his looks. He was a very talented young man. Now, when Jon-Erik Hexum died, it was a tragedy beyond words, because I think it popularized the term which we use more frequently after his death occurred, death by misadventure. Now, we're going to talk about that very soon, but I want to stress his career more than his passing, because I think his career is important to look at. Now, Jon-Erik was born on Englewood, New Jersey, nice community in the state, November 5th, 1957. He was an American actor and model known for his lead roles in the popular TV series Voyagers and the the detective series Cover Up, and his supporting role as Pat Trammell in the Bear Bride biopic The Bear. Now, he died by an accidental, self-inflicted blank cartridge gunshot to the head on the set of Cover Up. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Now, he was born to Greta and Thorleif Hexum, and they were both of Norwegian descent, and you see these looks. I don't know if you saw the band Aha, how beautiful they were. He was more nicer looking than all three of them combined, if you could believe that. When he walked on the stage, it was just jarring how beautiful this man was. Now, he and his elder brother Gunnar were raised in Tenafly, New Jersey, by their mother after the parents divorced when Hexum was 4. After graduating from Tenafly High School, Hexum went on to Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland to study biomedical engineering. He soon transferred to Michigan State in East Lansing, Michigan. During that time, he worked as all things a disc jockey and also played on the 1978 Michigan State Spartans football team and acted in minor stage roles. Now, a few days after graduation, he moved to New York in 1980 to pursue his acting career. Now, while working as an apartment cleaner, he met Bob Lamond of Lamond Zetter Management, who was John Travolta's manager. Now, Lamond saw great potential in Hexum. At Lamond's urging, he relocated to LA in September 81 to audition for a movie called Summer Lovers, which eventually co-starred Daryl Hannah and the person he lost the part to, the young Peter Gallagher of OC fame. Now, Hexum was soon cast in the lead role of Phineas Bogg in the NBC series Voyagers, which was kind of a time travel show for children. Now, Voyagers aired during the 83 television season, with Hexum earning $10,000 a week, still good money. Now, Hexum was then cast opposite Joan Collins in the made-for-television movie Making of a Male Model, which also starred Jeff Conaway and Roxy Rucker, and that drew a lot of interest as well, not only because of the fans of Joan Collins watching the show. He was a perfect combination of prettiness and acting skill. Like I said, a very, very strong presence on the screen. Now, 84, his next key role was when he guest starred in an episode of ABC's primetime drama Hotel, playing Prince Eric, a Prince Charming type character. Now, that same year, Hexum played terminally ill quarterback Pat Trammell in a small but well-received role in the feature film The Bear, which was a tribute to University of Alabama football coach Paul Bear Bryant, played by, of all people, Gary Busey. Now, The Bear represents Hexum's sole performance in a feature film released just 3 weeks before his death. In 84, Hexum began playing Mac Harper, an undercover CIA operative posing as a male model in the TV series Cover Up, opposite his great co-star Jennifer O'Neill. Now, Hexum described the role in published reports as part Indiana Jones, James Bond, Mr. Magoo, and Superman, which is an accurate description. I saw the series, and not for me, but if you're a young woman in their early 20s staying home to watch TV, nothing bad about watching Jon-Erik pretend to be a male model. Now, according to then-girlfriend, actress and singer and vaunted voice artist E.J. Daly, who co-starred at the time in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, he loved living this rich fantasy life. He was a big, strong man, looked kind of like a Viking bodybuilder, and he loved to show his strength. He also liked the whole idea of guns and soldiers. Now, Whitty's passing unfortunately happened on October 12, 1984, as the cast and crew of Cover Up were filming the 7-episode series called Golden Opportunity on a stage of the 20th Century Fox lot. Now, one of the scenes filmed that day called for his character to load bullets in a .44 Magnum handgun, so he was provided with a functional gun and, obviously, blanks. When the scene did not play as the director wanted it to in a master shot, there was a heavy delay in filming. Hexum became restless and impatient during this delay and began playing around to lighten the mood. He had unloaded all but one blank round, spun it, and simulating Russian roulette, he put the revolver to his right temple and pulled the trigger, apparently unaware of the danger. Now, because blanks use paper or plastic wadding to seal gunpowder into the cartridge, and this wadding is propelled from the barrel of the gun with enough force to cause injury, if the weapon is fired within a few feet of the body, particularly a vulnerable spot, such as the temple or the eye, at close enough range, the effect of the powdered gases is a small explosion. So although a paper wadding in a blank that Hexum discharged did not penetrate his skull, there was enough blood force trauma to shatter a quarter-sized piece of his skull and propel the pieces into his brain, causing massive hemorrhaging. Now, when he was rushed to the Beverly Hills Medical Center, he underwent 4 or 5 hours of surgery to repair his wounds. On October 18th, at the age of 26, 6 days after the accident, Hexum was declared brain dead, which, with his mother's permission, his body was eventually flown to San Francisco on life support, where his heart was transplanted into a 36-year-old Las Vegas escort operator at California Pacific Medical Center. Hexum's kidneys and corneas were also donated. One cornea went to a 66-year-old man, the other to a young girl. Now, one of the kidney recipients was a critically ill 5-year-old boy, and the other was a 40-year-old grandmother 3, who had waited 8 years for a kidney. Skin that was donated was used to treat a 3.5-year-old boy with third-degree burns. Now, Hexum's body was then flown back to L.A. He was eventually cremated at Grandview Cemetery in Glendale, California, and a private funeral was held. His ashes was eventually scattered in the Pacific Ocean near Malibu, California by his mother. Now, he watched his money, and allegedly he left an estate estimated to be worth $250,000 upon death. Now, because the death was ruled accidental, his mother later received an out-of-court settlement from 20th Century Fox Television and Glennie Larson Productions, the production team behind Cover Up. Now, the episode on which Hexum had been working was broadcast on November 3rd, 1984, 2 weeks after his death. Now, Cover Up continued production without Hexum's character. 3 weeks later, on November 24th, Anthony Hamilton was introduced as Agent Jack Stryker, posing as a new member of the modeling team. Hexum's character Mac is noticeably absent, said to be on another mission. At the end of the episode, Henry Tyler, Richard Anderson, breaks the news that Mac has been killed on the other assignment and would not be coming back. As the tears flow, the camera pans back, and a memoriam written by Glenn Larson appears on screen. That goes, "When a star dies, its light continues to shine across the universe for millenniums. Jon-Erik Hexum had died in October of this year, but the lives he touched will continue to be brightened by this light, his light, forever and ever." So, again, a very, very talented young man, a very, very positive thing at the end of his life. Organ donation was something that people were scared of back in the day. When people found that John-Erik had donated much of his body parts to worthwhile and needy people, it opened up a debate not only of how people could help out, like funding and otherwise, the organ donor cards. And, for what E.J. Daly has said many times through the years, and a lot of his co-workers, he was a stand-up guy, a nice gentleman. But like I said, every generation has beautiful men and women that we can look up to and say, I can imagine what he would have done if he would have become a director. I would love to see him. I saw John-Erik, and no joke about this. you look at some of the actors that worked in the Marvel and DC universe, especially CW. Could you not see? Just look at his face. Could you not see? He could have played like a Superman or like a DC character explicitly. You know, people of Norwegian descent, you look at the members of AHA or the Scandinavian descent, they're very beautiful, facial structure. And like I said, he had the body, he had the presence, but he was never over the top. Like he said, when he did appearances, you know, he was respectful. I remember there was, I think, interviews on Entertainment Tonight, and he may have done an interview with CBC years ago to promote Voyagers. But if you have a chance, go on YouTube and see some of the Voyagers episode. Like it's Mino Palouse from the TV version of Bad News Bears is in there. I think it's Mino Palouse. Let me double check this here. Maybe I'm wrong here. Who is his co-star? By the way, it's Voyagers with an exclamation point, in case you were wondering. It, you know, but I think when, like I said, yeah, he is Mino Palouse. My apologies. Where Mino had showed up in the first version of Bad News Bears on TV. So, but anyway, and actually, you know why I really liked him? He played a character with my first name, Jeffrey. So, but if you look at the promo photos, man, he was, like I said, a man's man like you wouldn't believe. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here with our remote control podcast, give us a like, comment, or subscribe. And if you're a fan of John-Erik, please leave your comments on what his performances left for you, because there was a lot of people that were hoping this guy would have a great success in his life, and unfortunately, bad decisions. But like I said, he was a Renaissance man. And E.J. Daly, I know for a fact she hasn't been the same since he has passed away. She's been saddened by his passing. He said many times, you know, that he was, larger than life, and I tend to agree. So, thanks for listening. Bye.